Is there a particular reason why Tucker Carlson is viewed as a gigantic threat? How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the confrontation between Fox News host Tucker Carlson and this random pregnant man emoji looking character by the name of Dan Bailey over in Livingston, Montana at a fishing shop. Now, apparently Tucker was in there getting some supplies to go fly fishing with his family, and all of a sudden here comes this guy, Dan Bailey, harassing him, talking about you're the worst human being on planet Earth and you push misinformation and extreme racism, all this, that, and the third. Now, the guy posted this confrontation on his own Instagram page, and I'll place a screenshot of that IG post on the screen before you. Now, I don't know who recorded it because it wasn't Dan. He was in front of the camera, not behind it. Was it a cameraman? I'm getting ahead of myself. There are quite a few things that don't make any sense here. Quite a few coinky dinks. We're going to get into those in just one moment. But first, let's roll the clip. In this clip, you'll see what was said and done there. After we get done watching that, I'll come back. I'll talk about what was said and done there. Then I'll give you the rest of my 2 cents, my deep detail analysis, and then I'll wrap it on up with a nice bow on top. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Don't even get my. I don't care, man. Okay, just do. You are the worst human being known to mankind. I want you to know that what you have done to this state, to the United States, to everything else in this world. I don't care that your daughter's here. What you have done to people's families, what you have done to everybody else in this world. Son, don't call me son. One. Please stand.
All right, so you saw that, you heard that. Now, this was ridiculous for quite a few reasons, and I think the bigger reason is the most ridiculous of all, and it kind of points to a pattern that we've seen over the past few days, weeks, months, years, quite frankly. First things first, this guy's named Dan Bailey. He put his own IG post out there. It said Dan Bailey MT for Montana. That's where he lives, right? Now, this particular fishing shop is called the Dan Bailey Outdoor Shop. Something like that. Dan Bailey's in the name of the shop. Now, they put out a statement talking about, oh, well, that's our name, Dan Bailey, but we're not related to the Dan Bailey that was in the shop harassing Tucker Carlson and putting him on the Instagram page called Dan Bailey MT. Now, maybe it just happens that somebody is named Dan Bailey and owns the shop, and it's not the same guy that was in there harassing Tucker Carlson. Just maybe that's a coinky dink. You're in this small town, Livingston, Montana. There's two Dan Baileys who are both fly fishing enthusiasts. Hey, it could be a coincidence, but I'll keep moving. There's a bigger issue here. Now, this guy, Dan, allegedly, from what I'm reading, and I could be wrong, but I doubt it, this guy is a fisherman, which he is because he was in the shop. And when you see some of the mainstream media, they'll say fly fishing guide Dan Bailey. So that fact is known. Also, from what I'm reading, he was involved with this group called the Asia Foundation. And he went to Mongolia to fish a particular type of fish over there. That was his main thing. But other reasons as well. I mean, you don't go to Mongolia halfway around the world just for one piece of fish. That doesn't make any sense. But anyway, the Asia Foundation is the group that he went with. The Asia Foundation is also listed as a CIA asset. And I'll place more about them on the screen before you. They go to different countries to engage in cultural things of that nature. Pretty interesting. CIA asset. Didn't we just hear the other day that Tucker had been unmasked by the NSA and they were reading his emails, and then they sent some of these emails to DC reporters? Very interesting how you have the NSA reading your emails, and then this guy who allegedly could be linked to the CIA just happens to find you in Livingston, Montana, and just happens to have a camera and landscape mode recording you. And he's not even the guy recording himself. It's a cameraman or woman, somebody putting it out there. Who's doing that? You just put two and two together and draw your own conclusion. But we're not even done. There's more. There's more. All right. So you have the Asia Foundation, CIA, cameraman, Dan Bailey Fish Shop. This guy also, according to what could be his LinkedIn, because there's a guy named Dan Bailey, Livingston, Montana, fisherman on LinkedIn, looks just like him, works for this DC nonprofit called the National Parks Conservation Association. Now, I mean, it makes sense for a government guy, a DC-based guy, to work with a DC nonprofit to get put into this CIA group to go to Mongolia. I mean, come on. Like, it's a little bit too obvious to me. Now, I can't say for certain that this guy's a CIA asset. I can't say that. But what are the odds of this happening? Jack Posobiec on Twitter posted that the White House knew about it, and it's not really, it was already planned in advance to go and confront Tucker. That's what he posted, not what I'm saying. It's just what he posted. Now, do you believe that? To me, it makes sense. Because what are the odds of this happening? Dan Bailey Outdoor Shop. You're harassed by a guy by the name of Dan Bailey. Is that even his name? I have no idea. But it seems like a coincidence, like a few too many coincidences for it to just be nothing. And to get to the bottom of what the guy was saying, what was that really? I mean, who does that to a public figure like Tucker? Why would you even, what is the actual complaint there? Racism, where do you see any racism? I mean, can you say Tucker says anything that's inaccurate, anything that's false? Remember the whole Hunter Biden laptop story? Remember that? Oh, that's from Russia, Eastern Europe, all this and that. They even were attacking people on Fox News about the validity of that story. I forget who they attacked on Fox. It might have been Giuliani. And I think it was Kennedy. Kennedy attacked Giuliani on Fox News about the Hunter Biden laptop. Now we know that that laptop was 100% official. It's real. It's legitimate. And we've seen subsequent videos of Hunter Biden, the good son, smoking crack, beaming at Scotty. Tucker said it looked legit from the very beginning. Mainstream media said it wasn't. Who was right? The FISA abuse from the whole Russia kerfuffle. Tucker reported that. Who was right? Who was wrong? Tucker's been right over and over and over and over and over again. So I think, to answer my kind of rhetorical question at the very beginning, Tucker is a threat because he's an accurate journalist, a real journalist. We're getting to the point in our country where we have kind of state-run media. Whatever the political left says, that's what your mainstream media will say for the most part. Even sometimes Fox, but definitely CNN, ABC, MS13, DNC, everything. Whatever they say pretty much goes. And whenever a leftist person tumbles, they stumble, they do something wrong, they make a mistake, or they just do something totally illegal or something that's harmful, they ignore it. When Joe Biden fell down on the steps trying to get up to Air Force One, whatever that was, when he fell, literally didn't just trip, he fell, almost broke his hip. When that happened, they kind of ignored it. When he's going down and trying to figure out what's happening with himself and doesn't know what's happening, he's just lost in the sauce, speaking about Joe Biden. When that happens, they totally ignore it. They want to talk about Trump, who's not even in office anymore. They'll talk about him and things that they say he did wrong rather than their own guy who's in there just totally messing everything up. Inflation is crazy. Unemployment is weird because all the FEDERALE, the federal benefits, it's a whole big mess. So we see kind of what's going on right here. And I think this whole thing is just a part of it. They're trying to intimidate Tucker because they know that he's doing good work. They will not do that to anybody else over on the left because they're on the same side. It's all about just trying to have one vision, one message, and that's it. North Korea, other communist countries, China, same thing. Do we want to go down the road of China, or are we going to remain a free country? Only time can tell, but I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about the FEDERALEs essentially stalking Tucker Carlson? I mean, they're reading his emails. They're trying to find out information. They probably went to his house. Remember that whole thing when people went to his house in D.C.? Now, what was that all about? I mean, who put that out there where he lived at in D.C.? Was it the FEDERALEs? Was it just regular citizens? Is it, the media? Is it all the above working together? I don't really know. But I feel like we're seeing this same story happen a lot over and over. Even with other journalists that aren't even as big as Tucker Carlson. There's a lot of censoring going on, a lot of doxing going on, a whole lot of weird things happening all because you report different news than what the mainstream media reports. All because you report factual information that can be proven with documents and sources that the mainstream media, which is the left, and the political left do not like. That's the whole thing, in my humble opinion. But am I wrong about this guy possibly being the FEDERALE, possibly being part of the CIA? I mean, what are the odds? Just answer this question, and then I'll go ahead and wrap it on up, put the bow on the top. What are the odds of this guy being named Dan Bailey at a Dan Bailey outdoor shop in Livingston, Montana? This is not New York City, Los Angeles, Livingston, Montana. Dan Bailey outdoor shop. The guy's name is Dan Bailey. The Asia Foundation, CIA operation. I mean, there's so much here. It's just hard to ignore. It's just nonsense. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.